Hey BBN, this is Brent Wainscott with Kentucky Sports Radio, and welcome in to another edition of the KSR Weekly Round-Up. Happy Monday BBN, and welcome to another edition of the KSR Weekly Round-Up. As always, I am Brent Wainscott, and this week KSR Weekly Roundup is brought to you by Justice Dental, and I think everybody in the BBN probably needs to pay them a visit because we're all smiling after Kentucky basketball went 2-0 on the week and picked up a major transfer out of the Big 12.
To that I say, all right.
So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. In Keion Brooks' return for the Kentucky Wildcats, Kentucky looked like a brand new team out on the court. They went down to Gainesville and mollywopped the Gators 76-58, and Kentucky is 3-0 in 2021.
All right.
Brooks made an emphatic return with the Wildcats, his first points coming off a dunk, and he pitched in 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in the victory. And after the game, Davion Mintz said that he was so good, it left him speechless. Brooks' return is obviously big because he is the only player to have played significant minutes for John Calipari last season, which can help these other young stars who have been struggling, like BJ Boston, who pitched in his best performance of the year on Saturday. And maybe when Terrence Clark comes back, maybe Keion Brooks can give him a lift of energy as well. And now that Kentucky has Keion Brooks into the fold, they're more dangerous than ever. Here's what Coach Cal had to say about Keion Brooks' return.
He's a leader by example. He's not a confrontational guy. That's not who he is. You saw the kind of athlete he is. You see that he's way physically stronger than he was, way more patient mentally. The game has slowed down for him.
Now, Kentucky only played 2 games this week, but the team that was on the floor Saturday looks completely different than the team that was hosting Vanderbilt at Rupp on Tuesday. For the 5th straight year, Kentucky was down at halftime to Vanderbilt at home, but once again found a way to win. They won 77-74. It was a rough night for BJ Boston. Calipari asked for the fans to support him after him being booed in Rupp. Olivier Sarr had a massive game. Devin Askew played well. Dante Allen pitched in 14 points, and it still willed Kentucky to a victory. Now, these are the kind of slug-it-out victories we've seen John Calipari teams win in the past. The games that you're not really supposed to win, but you somehow come up winning in the end. Now, Vanderbilt obviously isn't the best team in the SEC, but Florida's pretty stout. And now we're seeing this Kentucky team start to put it together. Dante Allen, he is a trustworthy scorer behind the arc. Point guard Devin Askew is turning it around. You obviously have the senior leadership of Sarr, Mintz, and now Keion Brooks back in the fold. And BJ Boston, like I said earlier, pitched in his best performance of the year against Florida. Coach Cal on his comments about BJ Boston as well.
How about BJ? Finally BJ played for us, played to the training. Here's the greatest play he made. He dribbled it up and threw it where he could have tried to shoot it, and he threw it to Davion in the corner for a 3. He hadn't done that all year. He would have gone in the middle and loop-de-loop and spun and thrown. I mean, just play the game as it comes. And so I was really proud of him. The biggest thing I told him in the first half, if you don't come up with loose balls, I'm not playing you. Well, you see, he started diving for balls, including the last one.
Of course, we have all the post-game coverage you need from Kentucky's wins over Vanderbilt and Florida on KentuckySportsRadio.com. And on KentuckySportsRadio.com, we also have more major news on the top transfer in the 2020-21 season, Oscar Tshiebwe. Of course, KSR's Jack Pilgrim has all the coverage you can need on Oscar Tshiebwe. Jack reported earlier in the week that Tshiebwe said had it not been for West Virginia, he would have ended up at Kentucky, and 2 years later, here he is. You can check out Jack's article on what it means for the Cats with Tshiebwe coming to Lexington, and you can check out his recent Sources Say podcast with Sean Smith from Go Big Blue Country. Now over to the gridiron for Mark Stoops and the Cats, as it was a big week for roster changes for the Kentucky Wildcats football program. Kentucky had a laundry list of guys said they were coming back, guys who have hired agents and are preparing for the drafts, guys who have transferred out. We got a new coach from the NFL. Kentucky also had a coach who was reported leaving, but now he's coming back. And it's madness in Lexington. Everyone's moving. There's moving trucks here, moving trucks there, moving trucks everywhere. And Kentucky's a top 25 team in 2021. Now, if you'll forgive me, I do have to have my list here for who is staying and who is going for the Cats. So, returning for the Cats so far, we have Yusuf Corker, DeAndre Square, 2 members of the Big Blue Wall, Darian Kennard and Luke Fortner, Josh Paschal, return specialist Zach Johnson, Quandre Mosley, Devontae Robinson, and Kentucky's leading wide receiver from last season, Josh Ali. Now, on the flip side here is who is leaving for the draft, or who may just be done with football in general. AJ Rose is leaving, Boogie Watson is out, Brandon Eccles is gone, and 2 other members of the Big Blue Wall, Drake Jackson and Landon Young, are also leaving. Now, the biggest story for the roster moves this season is Jamin Davis has declared for the NFL draft. He was quite possibly one of the best players in the SEC this season, and undoubtedly one of the best players in that Kentucky defense. There's going to be a massive void at that linebacking spot next season. Of course, has that covered for you on KSR as well. You can check out his article in the description below. Now, this past season, Kentucky had quite possibly the deepest quarterback room we've ever seen. They had Nick Scalzo, Terry Wilson, Bo Allen, Joey Gatewood, and now 2 of those members are gone. Nick Scalzo and Terry Wilson both said they were transferring next season as well. Last week, I talked about Terry Wilson's impact on the Kentucky football program, how he should have our ultimate respect, and it was probably best for both parties to move on. The BBN wishes Terry Wilson nothing but success wherever he may go in the transfer portal. It sounds like he's going to head down to New Mexico for the next chapter of his football life, and we wish him all the best. Now over to some coaching changes for the Kentucky Wildcats football staff. It was reported that wide receiver coach Jovan Boatnight would be leaving the Cats in 2021, but it turns out that those reports were false. He will be back for 2021 to help get some more continuity in the wide receiver room. This is a wide receiver room that has yet to have a coach to stick around for more than 2 years. So it's going to be massive for Josh Ali and the incoming freshman to have a little bit of consistency and continuity going into 2021. And hopefully this group can blossom. It was Kentucky's weakest spot last year. And if they can get those wide receivers going for Liam Cohen, man, Kentucky's offense is going to be dangerous next season.
I woke up feeling dangerous.
Now switching over to the running back room, Kentucky once again heads to the NFL to get one of their new coaches. This time they head up north just a few hours to get running back coach Jamal Singleton from the Cincinnati Bengals. Singleton coached the likes of Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon last season. Cincinnati has had one of the most prolific rushing attacks in the NFL despite their bad offensive line play, bad quarterback play over the past few years. One of their strengths on offense has been their rushing attack. I think it is a massive get for Kentucky to get Singleton. Not only does he have experience in the league, he has experience with coaching a committee backfield, which will be massive for a team that has Chris Rodriguez and Kavasier Smoke into 2021. Now back over to the hardwood for the women's basketball team. It was a rough week for them as they go 0-2 this week to finish out their first 4 SEC games against top 15 opponents. They went 2-0 last week, but just ran out of gas this week against South Carolina and Texas A&M, both of which are undefeated. Obviously, the 2 losses don't look great for Kentucky, but when you start the gauntlet SEC like that, you're obviously going to drop a few games, of course. The Cats will try to get back in the win column against Auburn on Thursday night. That's just about all the time we have for this week's KSR Weekly Roundup, but of course I could not go this entire roundup without talking about the fact that Matt Jones has purchased Ohio Valley Wrestling, often referred to as OVW. That's right, wrestling is coming to KSR. We'll get to see Shannon the Dude fight, and who knows, we might see Matt Jones versus Ryan Lemon, Drew Franklin in a steel cage. Listen, Cash Daniel, I'm calling you out. I want you in a steel cage as my tag team partner against Shannon and Ryan. I don't want no part of Cash, but hopefully he will join OVW later down the road.
Give me a hell yeah.
Now that will do it for the KSR Weekly Roundup. I hope the BBN has a great week for the football fans. Keep your ear in that transfer portal. And as always, go Cats, stay safe, and just don't burn your clothes. Don't do it. You're not affecting anybody. Just keep your clothes, man, or donate it to Goodwill or something. Just don't burn your clothes. All right? All right. Good. As always, I'm Brent Wainscott. Thanks for joining me for this week's KSR Weekly Roundup. I will be back next week with hopefully more great news. Go Cats, stay safe.